The Wanderer's hope drifted through the outer rim of the Sol system, her hull scarred from plasma burns and her life support systems failing. Commander Zethara pressed her scaled hand against the viewport, watching the blue marble of Earth grow, larger. Behind her, the remaining 43 members of her crew, the last of the Kithani outcasts, waited in silent desperation. "Commander," her navigation officer Veltar whispered, his voice hoarse from dehydration. "The humans are responding to our distress beacon." Zethara's mandibles clicked nervously. 6 months ago, she would never have imagined begging aliens for sanctuary. The Kithani had been a proud species, their crystalline cities spanning 3 star systems. But pride had been their downfall when the genetic plague struck, a engineered virus that targeted their neural pathways, turning infected Kithani into mindless husks. The Council's solution had been swift and merciless: exile all those who carried the dormant markers, even if they showed no symptoms. 43 souls cast into the void, branded as potential carriers of extinction itself. "This is Admiral Chen of the Terran Defense Fleet," crackled through their communications. "Array. We've received your distress call. Permission granted to dock at Luna Station for humanitarian processing." Zethara closed her eyes. Humanitarian. The humans use that word often in their broadcasts, a concept that seemed to transcend species barriers in their philosophy. Dr. Sarah Martinez had seen many alien refugees in her 15 years at Luna Station, but never any in such dire condition. The Kithani were tall, graceful beings with iridescent scales and 4 arms, their movements normally fluid like dancers. These survivors moved with the broken gait of the defeated. The medical scans show no active infection, she reported to Admiral Chen via secure channel, but their genetic markers indicate they could potentially carry something called the mind rot plague. Potentially? Chen's gruff voice carried a note of skepticism. "Their own people exiled them based on theoretical risk, Admiral. These beings have been wandering space for months, watching their crewmates die from starvation and system failures, not disease." In the quarantine bay, Zethara watched through the transparent aluminum barrier as human medics worked tirelessly to save her dying crew. She had expected cold efficiency, perhaps even hostility. Instead, she witnessed something that shattered her understanding of interspecies relations. A human nurse named James sat beside Kithani youngster Nixall, who was barely past his molting age. The boy's scales had dulled to gray and his breathing came in ragged gasps. James couldn't speak Kithani, and Nixall knew no standard, yet somehow the human conveyed comfort through gentle touches and soft humming, a lullaby that transcended language barriers. "Your people," Zethara said to Dr. Martinez during one of their daily consultations. "Why do you help us? We are genetic pariahs, cast out by our own kind." Sarah set down her tablet and looked directly into the Kithani's large, multifaceted eyes. "Because that's what we do. Humanity has been cast out too, you know. We're the species that got kicked out of our own evolutionary paradise, banished to wander among the stars. Maybe that's why we recognize our own. But the risk, there's always risk in compassion," Sarah interrupted gently. "But there's certainty in cruelty. We choose the risk." 3 weeks later, Zethara stood in the Luna Station Council chambers, alongside Admiral Chen, Dr. Martinez, and representatives from 5 other human colonies. The vote was unanimous. The Kithani refugees would be granted permanent sanctuary on Kepler 442b, a recently terraformed world in human space. "We don't ask that you become human," Admiral Chen explained. "We ask that you become neighbors." But it was the words of the youngest human representative, a teenager named Alex from the Mars colonies, that struck deepest. "My great-grandfather was a refugee too, from the water wars on Earth. He used to say that home isn't where you're from, it's where people are willing to stand beside you when everything goes dark." 5 years later, the Kithani settlement of New Velshan thrived on Kepler 442b. Their crystal-growing techniques had revolutionized human architecture, while human agricultural methods had increased Kithani food production threefold. More importantly, the children of both species played together in the settlement's parks, their laughter a universal language. Zethara, now the elected leader of Nouvelle Shan, often watched the sunset with her human counterpart, Governor William Park. The sky painted itself in familiar purples and golds that reminded her of her lost homeworld, yet this place felt more like home than anywhere she had ever known. "Any word from the Kithani Council?" William asked one evening. "They've lifted the quarantine from our home systems," she replied. "The plague burned itself out after 18 months. They're asking us to return." William nodded slowly. "And what did you tell them?" Zethara's mandibles spread, and what humans had learned was her equivalent of a smile. "I told them we already found our way home." In the distance, human and Kithani children chased bioluminescent insects through the twilight, their mixed voices echoing across the settlement. The outcasts had found something neither species had truly understood before. That family isn't defined by genetics or homeworlds, but by the choice to stand together when the universe grows cold. The stars above bore witness to a simple truth that would echo through the galaxy for generations. Sometimes the greatest strength comes not from those who cast others out, but from those who take the cast-outs in.